02. Controlling policies of mass media. As a result of that condition in the United States, for approximately the past 50 years the grassroots population of the United States has only read, heard and seen what passed Zionist censorship and best served Zionist objectives, instead of reading, hearing and seeing what best served the interests of the grassroots population of the United States. The Zionist-ruled media for mass information in the United States never informed the grassroots population of the United States how and why President Woodrow Wilson lied the United States into the desperate predicament in which the United States today finds itself in the Middle East. In their consideration recently of the alleged theft of the so-called Pentagon Papers, the United States Supreme Court declared the public has a right to know the truth. The Supreme Court should have said the public has a right to know the whole truth. The reason half-truths often are more harmful than lies. The United States declared war against Germany on April 6, 1917. On April 2, 1917 President Wilson addressed both houses of Congress and pleaded with them to declare war against Germany. President Wilson's appeal to Congress to declare war against Germany in effect and in fact was primarily President Wilson's liquidation of his obligation to his blackmailers. The following incontestable facts confirm that conclusion beyond all question of any doubt. President Wilson's hand trembled as he read his address. The members of Congress present had no reason to suspect why President Wilson's hand trembled. By the time the grassroots population finish reading this, they will know the reason President Wilson's hand trembled as he read his message to Congress. By the time President Wilson finished reading his appeal to Congress, many of his listeners were in tears, but not for the reason the grassroots population of the United States today will be in tears when they finish reading this manuscript. When President Wilson asked Congress to declare war against Germany, President Wilson was in effect and in fact conspiring to pay the debt he obligated himself to pay to the Zionists. Congress only declared war against Germany because President Wilson informed Congress that a German submarine had sunk the SS Sussex in the English Channel in violation of international law and that United States citizens aboard the SS Sussex had perished with the ship. After General Pershing's troops were fighting in Europe, the hoax was exposed. The alleged sinking of the SS Sussex was used as the pretext to justify a declaration of war against Germany by the United States. The SS Sussex had not been sunk and no United States citizens had lost their lives. The United States was now at war in Europe as Great Britain's ally. That is what Great Britain and the Talmudists of the world conspired to achieve in their crooked diplomatic underworld. The discovery of the hoax by the British Navy shocked many honourable Englishmen. A large segment of the British public were shocked to learn the SS Sussex had not been sunk. The SS Sussex was available for anyone to visit who might care to do so, to see the SS Sussex for themselves with their own eyes. In that war the United States mobilized 4,734,991 men to serve in the armed forces, of whom 115,516 were killed and 202,002 were either injured or maimed for life. The Right Honourable Francis Neilson, a Member of Parliament, wrote a book in England called Makers of War, pages 149 to 150. Mr. Neilson's book created such a sensation that Mr. Neilson was compelled to resign his seat in Parliament. Things became so intolerable for Mr. Neilson in Great Britain as a result of the exposures in his book that he was compelled for his personal safety to flee from his home in Great Britain and to make his home in the United States. In Mr. Neilson's book Makers of War, pages 149 to 150, he discloses many unsuspected and undisclosed reasons for the outbreak of the First World War in Europe in August 1914. With reference to the alleged sinking of the SS Sussex in the English Channel, Mr. Neilson emphasizes, in America, Woodrow Wilson, desperate to find a pretext to enter the war, found it at last in the sinking of the Sussex in mid-channel. Someone invented a yarn that American lives had been lost. With this excuse he went to Congress for a declaration of war. Afterwards, The Navy found that the Sussex had not been sunk, and that no lives had been lost. This author crossed the English Channel many times on the SS Sussex. The alleged sinking of the SS Sussex was the figment of an overworked Zionist imagination. The alleged sinking of the SS Sussex was conceived in the imagination of a Zionist to facilitate the purpose planned and successfully executed.